What if everything you've been taught about living a successful life is wrong? In a world obsessed with speed, productivity, and constant performance, slowing down feels almost like a crime. But here's the truth. The faster we go, the more we miss. We're so busy chasing deadlines, notifications, and the next big thing that we forget to actually live. Isn't it ironic? We've mastered multitasking, but lost the art of simply being. Imagine this. You're sipping coffee, scrolling through your phone, barely tasting the drink in your hand. Sound familiar? That's the trap of modern life, always doing, never being. But what if I told you there's another way? A way to reclaim your time, your peace, and your sense of self. Slowing down isn't about giving up. It's about waking up. It's about choosing to live mindfully, to savor the moments that truly matter, and to resist the relentless pull of a world that never stops. This isn't just a feel-good idea, it's a necessity. Slowing down is the antidote to the chaos of modern life. It's how we reconnect with ourselves, rediscover joy, and find meaning in the everyday. And the best part? You don't need to overhaul your life to start. All it takes is a shift in perspective, a willingness to pause, and the courage to live differently. Ready to find out how? Let's dive in. Slowing down isn't laziness, nor is it a sign of irresponsibility or dependence. It is a conscious act of reclaiming your time and energy, a deliberate choice to step out of the frantic race society has normalized. Imagine sipping your morning coffee without scrolling through your phone, simply savoring the warmth and aroma. That's not being idle. It's practicing mindfulness. It's about being present in the moment, not rushing to the next task on your never-ending to-do list. This intentional slowness is a form of quiet rebellion. It's about choosing contemplation over chaos, presence over productivity. Think of it as a pause button for your soul, a chance to breathe and observe the world around you. It's not about doing nothing. It's about doing something meaningful, like sitting on a park bench, watching the leaves sway in the breeze, and realizing that life doesn't have to be a constant sprint. It's a reminder that you're not a machine, and your worth isn't tied to how much you accomplish in a day. When you embrace this mindful presence, you start to notice things you've overlooked for years. The laughter of a child, the way sunlight dances on your kitchen counter, or the sound of rain tapping on your window. These moments, small as they seem, are the essence of life. And once you start paying attention, you'll find that this slower, more intentional way of living opens the door to something even deeper, an entirely new way of seeing the world. The philosophical wanderer moves through life at a pace that feels almost foreign in today's world. They walk slowly, not because they're in no hurry, but because they understand the value of observing the sky, the trees, and the rhythm of life around them. They notice the way clouds shift and form, like nature's own silent poetry. Instead of rushing to their next destination, they savor the journey itself, as if each step holds a secret waiting to be uncovered. This wanderer listens more than they speak. They might overhear snippets of conversations at a cafe or on a park bench, not to judge or intrude, but to marvel at the shared humanity in every voice. They've mastered the art of presence, choosing to open a window and feel the breeze on their face instead of reaching for their phone. It's not about avoiding technology. It's about making a conscious choice to connect with the world in a deeper, more meaningful way. And then there's the ritual of coffee. For the philosophical wanderer, it's not just a drink, it's a moment. They sit by the window, cup in hand, watching the street come alive. They see the small details others miss, the way sunlight reflects off a puddle or how a stranger smiles at a passing dog. These moments, though seemingly mundane, are where they find wisdom. And as they sip their coffee, they're not just drinking. They're contemplating life itself. But this way of being isn't to just about observation. It is a quiet resistance to the rush of modern life, leading us to question what we might be missing when we live too fast. We live in a world that glorifies the hustle, where being busy is worn like a badge of honor. This is what Zygmunt Bauman called the liquid life, a society where everything flows so quickly that nothing solid remains. Relationships, careers, even our sense of self seem to dissolve under the pressure of constant movement. It's as if we're all running on a treadmill, chasing a finish line that keeps moving further away. But here's the thing. What are we really chasing? And at what cost? In this culture of speed, productivity has become the ultimate gold medal. We measure our worth by how much we can accomplish in a day, even if it leaves us drained and disconnected. The irony is, the more we achieve, the more we feel the need to achieve. It's a cycle that leaves little room for contemplation or presence. Think about it. When was the last time you sat still without feeling guilty for wasting time? The liquid life convinces us that slowing down is a failure when, in reality, it might be the smartest choice we can make. This relentless pace doesn't just rob us of time. It robs us of meaning. In our rush to perform, to post, to be seen, we forget how to simply be. The philosophical wanderer, in contrast, resists this current. They choose to sit on a park bench, to watch the world instead of trying to conquer it. It's not about rejecting modern life, but reclaiming the parts of it that truly matter. And as we begin to question this liquid existence, we open the door to something more solid, something that nurtures the soul instead of draining it. In a world that thrives on constant noise and distraction, the concept of a fertile pause might feel revolutionary. But it's exactly what our minds crave: a moment to breathe, to let creativity and clarity emerge from the silence. This isn't the same as boredom. It's a deliberate act of creating space for your soul to stretch. Imagine sitting quietly, no phone in hand, and letting your thoughts wander like a child exploring a meadow. That's where the magic happens, when you stop forcing productivity and allow your mind to simply exist. Silence, often feared in modern life, is actually a powerful tool for mental well-being. It's in these quiet moments that we reconnect with ourselves, rediscovering the childlike wonder we once had. Remember how, as a kid, you could spend hours watching ants march in a line or clouds shift shapes in the sky? That wasn't wasted time. It was your mind learning to observe, to imagine, to be present. Reclaiming that sense of curiosity is like giving your brain a much-needed vacation from the relentless demands of adulthood. When we embrace these pauses, we also create room for emotional recovery. The constant push to achieve leaves little space for reflection, and without reflection, we lose touch with who we are. Taking time to be still allows us to process emotions, to heal, and to grow. It's not about escaping life's challenges, but facing them with a clearer, calmer mind. And as you begin to cultivate these moments of silence, you'll find yourself stepping into the next layer of self-discovery, learning how to truly be with yourself. Self-knowledge isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you cultivate like a garden. It begins with learning to be alone, not lonely, but alone in a way that feels freeing. When was the last time you sat with your thoughts? No distractions, no notifications pulling you away. It's in these quiet moments that you start to notice the patterns of your mind, the stories you tell yourself, and the truths you've been avoiding. This isn't easy, but it's where wisdom begins, by facing yourself, even when it's uncomfortable. One of the greatest traps of modern life is the prison of constant distraction. We scroll, swipe, and binge not because we're truly entertained, but because we're avoiding the stillness that forces us to confront ourselves. But here's the thing. Avoiding yourself only deepens the disconnect. Imagine sitting on a porch swing, no phone in sight, just watching the world go by. At first it feels strange, even unsettling. But slowly, you begin to hear your own thoughts more clearly, like tuning into a long-lost radio station. In these moments of stillness, you discover the beauty of doing nothing. It's not laziness, it's a form of self-care. You realize that wisdom doesn't come from constant action, but from reflection. You start to see that the answers you've been searching for externally through achievements, relationships, or validation were within you all along. And as you learn to sit with yourself, you'll find that this newfound self-awareness naturally leads you to the next step, living with intention and purpose. Contemplative practices are like little gifts you give yourself, moments to pause, breathe, and reconnect with the world around you. Picture this: you're lying in a hammock, no agenda, no pressure, just letting your thoughts drift like clouds across the sky. It's not about achieving anything, it's about letting go. Or maybe you're sitting on your porch with a book you picked up for no reason other than curiosity. These small acts of slowing down are where mindfulness begins. They remind you that life doesn't always have to be a race. Sometimes, the simplest activities can be the most profound. Watching ants carry crumbs back to their colony, chatting with the friendly woman at the corner store, or even just staring out the window as the rain falls. These aren't just idle moments, they're opportunities to observe, to exist without judgment, and to rediscover the joy of being present. It's in these quiet, unassuming moments that you start to feel the weight of the world lift, even if just for a little while. The beauty of these practices is that they're accessible to everyone. You don't need expensive retreats or elaborate rituals. All you need is a willingness to pause and pay attention. Next time you're outside, try sitting on a park bench and watching the world go by. Notice the colors, the sounds, the rhythm of life unfolding around you. It's not about doing, it's about being. And as you embrace these moments of stillness, you'll start to see how they ripple into every part of your life, leading you to question the pace at which you've been living. In today's digital age, everything feels like a performance. We don't just live our lives. We curate them, turning every moment into a post, a story, or a highlight reel. But here's the catch. The more we focus on appearing happy, successful, or put together, the further we drift from actually being those things. Notifications buzz, apps demand our attention, and before we know it, our lives are dictated by screens. It's a strange paradox. Technology promises connection, yet it often leaves us feeling more isolated than ever. The constant need to share and perform creates a relentless pressure to keep up. We measure our worth in likes, comments, and followers, as if our value can be quantified by algorithms. But deep down, we know this isn't sustainable. When was the last time you watched a sunset without feeling the urge to take a picture? Or had a meaningful conversation without glancing at your phone? These small habits, though seemingly harmless, chip away at our ability to be present, to simply exist without the need for validation. The solution isn't to reject technology entirely, it's to use it wisely. Turn off your notifications for an afternoon and notice how much lighter you feel. Leave your phone at home when you go for a walk and see how the world looks when you're not viewing it through a screen. Sit on a park bench and just observe. No selfies, no status updates, just you in the moment. These small acts of resistance remind us that we are human beings, not machines. And as we reclaim our time and attention, we begin to rediscover what it means to truly live. Life isn't meant to be a checklist of achievements. It's meant to be lived. Yet, so many of us rush through our days, convinced that the next milestone will finally bring us happiness. But what if the true genius of life lies in the small, unremarkable moments? A simple piece of bread with butter can feel like a feast when savored without distractions. A quiet sunset doesn't need a caption, it's perfect just as it is. These moments remind us that life's value isn't measured in productivity but in presence. To truly live, we must learn to slow down and pay attention. It's revolutionary to sit with a friend, listening without glancing at the clock or your phone. It is an act of rebellion to find joy in the ordinary, to see the beauty in a cup of coffee, the wisdom in a child's laughter, or the serenity in watching the clouds drift by. These aren't just poetic ideas. They're practical steps toward a life that feels full even when it's not busy. After all, what is the point of working so hard if we forget to notice the life we were working for? This philosophy isn't about rejecting ambition or success. It's about redefining what success means. It is about realizing that the most urgent thing in life isn't to the next task or the next goal. It's the moment you're in right now. When you embrace this mindset, you start to see that life doesn't have to be extraordinary to be meaningful. And as you begin to live this way, you will naturally start to question, what else have I been missing in my rush to keep up? So, what's stopping you from slowing down? Is it the fear of falling behind or the pressure to keep up with a world that never pauses? Here's the thing. Life isn't waiting for you to catch up. It's happening right now, in the quiet moments you've been too busy to notice. The question is, are you ready to reclaim them? Are you ready to choose presence over performance and meaning over mindless productivity? Think about it. When was the last time you truly listened to a friend without rushing the conversation? Or watched the sunset without feeling the need to capture it for social media? These small, intentional acts of slowing down can change everything. They're not just moments of rest. They're acts of resistance against a culture that tells you your worth is tied to how much you do. What if you started living as if life itself was the reward? Now's the time to take action. Start small. Turn off your notifications, sit on a park bench, or simply breathe and observe the world around you. And if this message resonates with you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to learn more about living mindfully. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, and let's start a movement, one slow, intentional moment at a time.